member of the Liberal Democrats for 28 years. I have stood up, spoken up and campaigned for this party all over the country. It has gifted me some of my proudest moments and dealt some crushing blows too. In May, we lost some of the best members of Parliament in Scotland. In fact, the best in the UK. I'm not naive. I knew the election would be hard, but it was painful to lose people of such outstanding calibre. And in June, Charles, one of the greats, lost forever. It would have been a summer to forget if it were not for you. In amongst the gloom, your spirit filled me with hope. Our membership in Scotland has swelled by 25%, and many are here today. If you're a new member, please stand up or give us a wave. Come on, stand up, new member. Go on. Have given our party a vibrancy and energy that is wonderful to watch. So thank you to all of you who have joined our party and given us such great inspiration. And then there's Loch Ness and there's Jean Davis, an outstanding win from 4th place, taking a seat from the SNP, which was previously held by the new MP. The first win from the SNP by any party in almost 2 years. No wins by the Labour Party, no wins by the Tories. A truly outstanding result. Councillor Jean Davis, thank you very much. So our membership is up and we're back to winning ways. This speech sets out our record with 5 MSPs and the positive change that we can bring to Scotland with more of us in the next 5 years. But I want our party to change as well. All our MPs in the United Kingdom are men, and 4 out of 5 MSPs are men too. I know that many in the party are instinctively do not support positive action, but I need to be frank with you. Nothing else has worked. That's why I want you to support the steps that I am taking. I have formed a working group, which I am chairing, to draw up proposals to put before you at the spring conference. I'm grateful to Sophie Bridger, Sheila Ritchie, Fred McIntosh and Joe Swinson for agreeing to serve on the working group. My aim is that within the next 6 years, we have a strong team of parliamentarians that will be truly representative of our party and of the society we seek to represent. I want half of our parliamentarians to be women. The status quo is no longer an option. It's a step change that we need to take, and it's a step that I am determined to take. We have a lot to do. Our campaign for Holyrood elections will be positive, an uplifting campaign that will seek to put the divisions of the referendum behind us, to bring the country together and to seize the big opportunities that exist for people in our country. It will build on our record in Holyrood. Just look at that record. You will know we stood up for our children's education by persuading the government to back our plans for expanding nursery education. Only because of the Liberal Democrats, thousands of young children are skipping through the doors of our local nurseries. You'll know we stood up for students in our colleges by mitigating the worst effects of the SNP's cuts. There is much more to be done, but only because of the Liberal Democrats are thousands of students able to get the education they need. You'll know we stood up for the freedom of thousands of people, children among them, stopped and searched each year for no reason. But Alison McInnes has succeeded in reforming this intrusive tactic almost single-handedly, only because of the Liberal Democrats are illegal and illiberal, unjustified searches being abolished. Thank you, Alison McInnes. Although we stood up for a stronger Scottish Parliament within the United Kingdom. Mike Campbell's reports crafted, cajoled and pioneered the agreement that was eventually reached in the Smith Commission. Only because of the Liberal Democrats will we soon have a Parliament with control of its own destiny, with £20 billion of tax powers and a new £3 billion welfare state. And you'll know we stood up for police officers, staff and the public when we alone opposed the centralisation of the police and have led the scrutiny of Police Scotland, only with the Liberal Democrats. And we've achieved all of that with only 5 MSPs. Scotland's strong Liberal voices have been heard loud and clearly. Just imagine what we can do with more. With only 5, we have stood tall for students, for children, for our civil liberties, and for Police Scotland and Scotland too. We should be completely clear. Scotland needs more Liberal voices in our Parliament, and I am determined we will grow as a party in that Parliament next year. Only Liberal Democrats can do what we do. Last week, I met a woman in Amsterdam who told me that the relationship with her daughter had broken down. It had been like that for over a year. It started with an argument about independence. Her family is not alone. An opinion poll found that 250,000 people believe their relationship with a friend or family member has been permanently damaged as a result of the independence referendum. For the sake of the country, we need to move on from those divisions. We've had the big debate on our constitutional future. We've spent 4 years on it. In the biggest democratic experience of our lifetime, we made our decision. But now Nicola Sturgeon has been performing a new dance. A dance where she has sought to pivot from a promise not to hold another referendum for a generation to the possibility of holding one in the next 5 years. She has an apparently secret criteria for triggering another referendum. What will that mean for every SNP member? Well, they will wake up every morning and run down to meet the postman to see if their criteria has been met. It is the only thing they care about. Imagine a 5-year journey with every MSP in the back asking every single day, are we there yet? But Nicola, our constitution has had our time. Surely our police, our NHS and our schools deserve our time now. For the sake of that woman in Amsterdam and the hundreds of thousands of others across the country, we need to put the division behind us and focus on the opportunities that are before us. The Liberal Democrat positive agenda contrasts with the SNP's record. Think about the missed opportunities for our children, the long wait to see a GP, the students with no college place, and the public put in harm's way because of police centralisation. Think about the 5 years of squandered chances we've seen. So that's the big choice at the next election. During the next 5 years, the Liberal Democrats will use our votes and influence in the Scottish Parliament for our schools. 5 years for our hospitals. 5 years for our police. That's what Scotland needs, not 5 years for another referendum. Our plan will draw on a rich political heritage, stretching back to the formation of the Liberal Party from free traders and radicals in 1859. The radical Liberal agenda has freedom at its heart. It's about freeing the potential of individuals. We trust in the innate ability of individuals to do great things when they have power in their hands. It's why Gladstone advanced freedom by breaking down the barriers to trade and introduced elementary education. The 1906 Liberal government's social reforms set people free from poverty with school meals and pensions. Liberal reforms in the 60s on abortion, divorce and gay rights. We helped set up the Scottish Parliament and led the opposition to the Iraq War. In government at Holyrood, invest in education, smash Labour fiefdoms with fair voting, free eye and dental checks and free personal care. In government at Westminster, cut taxes for workers, made a massive investment in renewable energy, boosted the state pension and scrapped identity cards, stretching back a century and a half. All of these measures, pioneered and delivered by Liberals, have given people the tools to improve their lives. We should be proud of our heritage. Liberals and Liberal Democrats did these great things in the past. That's why we should be proud to campaign from this moment on in that tradition. So I want to set out a bold, new approach to extending freedom that reflects that political heritage. Freedom in the public sector. Targets, controls and top-down diktats have become the favoured tool to control every part of our public services. And it is suffocating the talents of our public sector workers, doctors, nurses, teachers and police. Take national testing in schools. Despite what the First Minister says, it is clear we are returning to the kind of testing in tables the previous Liberal Democrat Labour government abolished. The EIS said testing would have a profoundly negative impact. The Parent-Teacher Council has been explicit. Testing does not raise attainment. George Gilchrist, a widely respected head teacher, said, if we get high-stakes standardised testing, we will get gaming of the system by schools and heads. He described the proposed changes as a definite step backwards. Educational policy since devolution, leading to the Curriculum for Excellence, has been designed to put power back in the hands of teachers so that they can use their talents to shape the prospects of pupils they teach. These national tests will undermine that progress and strip power from teachers, introducing the destructive teaching to the test. It will be the most damaging blow to education in Scotland since devolution. So we will use our influence and votes in the next Parliament to stand up for teachers, pupils and schools and speak against national testing and league tables. Schools are only the start. The Police Federation has spoken out against their target culture. The Royal College of Nursing and the Royal Medical Colleges say targets are skewing clinical priorities and wasting resources. And Audit Scotland warn of the risks of too narrow a focus on targets. It takes 10 years to train a GP. It takes 4 years to train a nurse or a teacher. It takes 2 years to train a police officer. Yet political masters think they know best how to treat patients better than nurses and doctors, know how to treat and prevent crime in our communities better than police, know how to teach children better than teachers. Top-down targets and controls are suffocating the public sector. So every vote for the Liberal Democrats next May will be a vote to allow teachers the power to teach, nurses and doctors to treat, and police to protect. Liberal Democrats will stand up for a liberating agenda of rolling back the top-down, target-driven, one-size-fits-all culture that distorts our public services. We will stand up for our police, our nurses, our doctors, and we will stand up for our teachers. Our freedom agenda will push democratic power to communities too, reversing the Holyrood Hoover that sucks power away from local people. Our plan is to set local communities free so that they can make judgments that are right for them. This plan will allow our public sector to reflect the rich diversity of our country. Shetland is different from Shettleston. Echo Feckin has different leads from Edinburgh. Just like Holyrood, local councils should raise the majority of the money they spend. Holding the purse strings means you can shape your own future. It means ending Holyrood control over business rates and the council tax, so councillors are truly accountable to local people for the taxes they raise and the money they spend. We will create new borough councils where there is local demand, allowing local communities to take charge. And the Crown estate will be transferred, not just from one remote government in London to another remote government in Edinburgh, but to local communities. And we want to inject local democracy back into the police too. Our proposals will make the senior police chief in each one of Scotland's 32 council areas accountable to the local authority, ending the one-size-fits-all policing model. The opportunity is so great to give power back to the public servants and local leaders, and to give accountability back to communities, that I am today proposing a public service and leadership bill. A bill to set a new relationship both between government and our public service workers, and between government and our local communities. I want to release the potential of the people of our country. So we will empower our teachers, nurses, doctors and police officers, and we will empower our local communities. Dispersing power away from the all-controlling government, away from the unelected quango remote from the real impact of the decisions they take, away from the minister who thinks they know best. Real power in your hands, and it will take Liberal Democrats to do it. Create the pathways for everyone to reach their potential too. Earlier this year, I visited an organisation called Urban Therapy in Central Fife, not far from here. It's a social enterprise that provides counselling for people with mental health issues. The service they provide is in such demand that people are travelling from far afield as Glasgow to get help. With 1 in 4 people in Scotland experiencing a mental health issue in their lifetime, it is little surprise. But yet, our mental health services are underfunded and don't get the support they need. Poor mental health holds people back, which is why we need a dramatic change in the attitude from government. Waiting times for young people for basic treatment can be up to a year. It's hard for anyone to get the help they need at the right time. We will change that. We will stand with the powerless against the strong. Mental health will be taken seriously. No more 6-month waits. Professionals on standby in every ERA. The beds and the therapy people need. The Cinderella service of mental health is going to the ball with the Liberal Democrats in the next Parliament. Education liberates the individual to be all they can be. It is the route to individual opportunity. For freedom, Liberal Democrats have a solid track record of educational transformation in Scotland. We abolished fees, stood up for college funding, transformed pay for teachers and delivered nursery education for 3 and 4-year-olds. But we must go further. We know too many children are held back by the circumstances of their birth. Too often, if they are born poor, they die poor. So we want to introduce a pupil premium. It will be a financial payment for every pupil who needs a helping hand at school. Liberal Democrats will use the next 5 years to make sure this generation of pupils, whatever their background, achieve more than any generation before. And we will need an urgent expansion of nursery education too. Professor James Hickley won a Nobel Prize for his work on early education. He is clear. He's clear that the best educational investment we could make is at the earliest age. It's about supplementing the work of parents, not replacing them. And to do it, we need 5 years of Liberal Democrats in the Scottish Parliament to invest in nursery education. So I want those 3 positive initiatives as part of our Liberal agenda for Scotland. Releasing the potential of people, empowering our public sector workers, trusting our local communities. That is the positive agenda for strong Liberal voices. And we need the next 5 years with more Liberal Democrats to make that happen. And we saw on Monday in Canada that Liberal hope can beat fear. We can do it too. We are not going to do it exactly the same way. My dad's here. I spoke to him earlier. He is content for me to go for the top job first without him doing it. Just like Canada, we can have a new approach from the Scottish Government. We can do things differently. An approach that is prepared to heal the divisions and which is prepared to listen to other viewpoints. One which will not stand for narrow sexual interest and abuse of opponents and does not obsess all the time about whether the people they are speaking to are one of us. My commitment to the United Kingdom remains strong, and as strong as ever. No one should ever doubt that. But I recognise that many Liberal-minded people have supported independence. Many felt compelled to back the Nationalists, even if they were unhappy about the performance of the SNP government. I want them to know today that they now have another option. I want to make a direct plea to supporters of independence today. If you want to fix the problems facing your local GP surgery, if you want to end industrial-scale stop and search on our streets, if you want to put mental health on an equal footing with physical health, if you want all of these things, then try the Liberal Democrats, because that is the choice. 5 years of another referendum campaign with the Nationalists, or 5 years for health, 5 years for education, 5 years for freedom and liberties with the Liberal Democrats. Party is destined to march to the hard left of politics, with the SNP running ahead to get there first. Meanwhile, the Conservatives are crawling to the right. They have delivered a devastating assault on renewable energy, a kick to working people with tax credit cuts and trade union changes, attacked our hard-won human rights, flirting with exit from the European Union, and will leave refugees on sinking boats on the Mediterranean. Unlike those who are veering off to the left or right, we are sticking to the radical liberal centre ground. We offer a combination of economic discipline with social justice, so that there is opportunity for everyone, no matter what their background. So we will be there for all of Scotland. If you are a Liberal but did not vote for us last time, if you share our values, then try us out. If you are an aspirational Scot with a social conscience, we are the party for you. If you want a diverse, plural politics, where we hold the government to account, but do so constructively. If you want to support independence, but are disappointed with the SNP in government. If you want to put the divisions of the referendum behind us, then back us this time. If you want to free up teachers, nurses, doctors and police officers to perform. If you want to push power down to communities. If you want to end the second-class status of mental health. If you want to tackle educational inequality. If you want to create opportunity for everyone, no matter what their background, then there is a clear choice. Give the Liberal Democrats 5 years for health, for education, for justice and freedom, and opportunity for all. Thank you very much.